You've seen the labels. Grass-fed, grain-fed. They're everywhere, from your local farmer's market to the supermarket aisle. On the surface, it might seem like a simple choice, a decision based on price, or perhaps a passing interest in animal welfare. But what if the real difference goes far beyond the label or the cost? What if this choice shapes not just what ends up on your plate, but also what happens inside your body, how the environment is treated, and even how your food tastes? Let's start with what the terms actually mean. When you see grass-fed on a package of beef, it generally indicates that the cattle were raised on a diet composed primarily of grass and forage for most, if not all, of their lives. This mimics their natural diet and environment. On the other hand, grain-fed usually refers to cattle that spend the last months of their lives in feedlots, where they're given a diet rich in grains such as corn and soy. This grain-rich diet helps the animals gain weight more quickly and results in beef with more marbling, the streaks of fat that can make the meat taste richer and more tender. But the differences run deeper than that. Scientific studies have shown that grass-fed beef typically contains higher levels of certain nutrients compared to grain-fed. Omega-3 fatty acids, which are known for supporting heart health and reducing inflammation, are found in greater amounts in grass-fed beef. Similarly, conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA, is more abundant in grass-fed products. CLA is a type of fat that has been linked to a variety of potential health benefits. In addition, antioxidants such as vitamin E are also found in higher concentrations in grass-fed meat. According to the Harvard School of Public Health, omega-3 levels in grass-fed beef can be 2 to 3 times higher than in grain-fed beef. That's a significant difference, especially for those who are mindful of their nutritional intake. Dr. Mark Hyman, a prominent leader in the field of functional medicine, points out that grass-fed meat contains nutrients that not only support heart health, but may also play a role in reducing inflammation throughout the body. But nutritional value is only part of the story. The way cattle are fed also affects the broader food system. Grain-fed cattle, raised primarily in concentrated animal feeding operations, or CAFOs, often experience conditions that can make them more prone to illness. A grain-heavy diet can upset the natural balance of bacteria in a cow's digestive system, sometimes leading to health problems that require the use of antibiotics. Increased antibiotic use in agriculture is a concern because it can contribute to antibiotic resistance, a growing issue in both human and veterinary medicine. Meanwhile, cattle raised on pasture tend to have a more natural diet and lifestyle, which can reduce the need for antibiotics. The environmental impacts are also worth considering. Grass-fed cattle, when managed responsibly, can play a role in sustainable agriculture by helping to maintain healthy grasslands, improve soil quality, and even sequester carbon. However, grass-fed systems generally require more land and may have slower production times compared to grain-fed operations. Taste is another area where preferences can diverge. Grain-fed beef is known for its rich marbling and buttery tenderness, characteristics many people find appealing. Grass-fed beef, on the other hand, has a leaner texture and a flavor that some describe as more robust or earthy. For some, it's an acquired taste. For others, it's a mark of quality and authenticity. But here's something most people overlook: labeling loopholes. In some cases, beef labeled as grass-fed may actually come from cattle that started life on grass but were finished on grain in the months before slaughter. This practice, known as grain finishing, can significantly affect the nutritional profile of the meat. Unfortunately, labeling standards can vary by country, and even by state, making it difficult for consumers to know exactly what they're buying. The United States Department of Agriculture, for example, once had a strict standard for grass-fed labeling, but has since withdrawn that requirement, leaving more room for interpretation. So, how can you be sure you're getting truly grass-fed beef? Look for certifications from reputable third-party organizations, such as the American Grass-Fed Association or Certified Grass-Fed by AGW. These labels require that cattle are fed a diet of 100% forage, are never confined to feedlots, and are not administered antibiotics or growth hormones. Transparency is key, and knowing where your food comes from and what it ate can make all the difference. The story of grass-fed versus grain-fed beef is also a story of transparency and trust. The choices made on farms and ranches shape the food that ends up on your table. These choices ripple out into your health, the environment, and the food system as a whole. When you select a package of beef, you're not just picking a protein for tonight's dinner. You're participating in a larger narrative about nutrition, sustainability, and agricultural practices. The next time you stand in the meat aisle, remember that the label is just the beginning. Behind every cut of beef is a story of how the animal was raised, what it ate, and how these choices affect you and the world around you. The real question isn't just what you're eating, it's what your food ate. Understanding these differences empowers you to make informed decisions, whether your priorities are nutrition, flavor, environmental stewardship, or animal welfare. The choice is yours, but the impact extends far beyond the checkout line.